Says go. All right, here we go. So, hey guys, Myron Golden here. Here's the 5th video in the series, Selling Simplified. The 5 biggest mistakes salespeople make that keep them from making sales, that makes sales hard when you do it that way. This mistake is mind-blowing because...
Yeah. Here we go. You see, I got where I am because someone reached out a hand. Help me to stand, be an independent man.
Because I'm standing on the shoulders of a giant.
The shoulders of a giant, y'all.
I'm thankful.
Mistake number 5 is trying to get people to buy. That's always a mistake. Don't try to get people to buy, but instead what you should be doing is creating an environment, that's a funny word, okay? Creating an environment that makes people feel, keyword, I'm gonna put that in all caps, feel like buying. Like buying. That's a huge mistake. Of all the mistakes, that may be the biggest. That may be the biggest mistake salespeople ever make, trying to get people to buy. They're trying to talk people into buying their stuff. They're trying to convince them to buy their stuff. So I'm gonna give you a couple of definitions before I go into detail here. Number 1, there is a difference between selling and convincing. Selling is not convincing, and convincing is not selling. People say, oh, I'm a great salesman, I'm a hard closer. If you're a hard closer, you're a hard closer because you don't know how to sell. I know, I offended some of you, and I know some of you think I'm wrong, but if you change to do it this way that I'm about to show you, it'll change your life, it'll change your business. So here's what you have to understand. Selling is not convincing, convincing is not selling. Convincing means I'm attempting to talk somebody into doing something I desire them to do for my reasons. But persuasion is the opposite. That's what selling is. Selling is persuasion. And persuasion is helping people make a decision they already desire to make for their own reasons. So convincing is when I attempt to get you to do something I desire you to do for my reasons. Persuasion is when I help somebody make a decision they already desire to make for their own reasons. So the person we should be focusing on when we're selling is them, not us, right? So that's why trying to get people to buy is a mistake. Think about it. Do you like it when somebody tries to talk you into doing something you don't like to do? And most people, I believe this is one of the reasons why most people think they don't like to sell, because the only sales experiences we remember are the bad ones. What does that mean? Well, like, remember how somebody did a horrible job showing you any of the value that you get from the thing they're attempting to get you to buy, and then they try to pressure you into buying it, and it feels so yucky. It's like, that's gross. It's like syrup between your fingernails. Between your fingers, right? Nobody wants that. And so you remember that. But really good sales experiences, you don't remember them. They're seamless. They're effortless. You don't feel them. It's like you're under sales anesthesia. What do I mean by that? Like, you bought an iPhone probably, I don't know, maybe you bought an iPhone. I have an iPhone, right? I had the first iPhone, then I had the iPhone 3, I had the iPhone 4, I had the iPhone 5, I had the iPhone 6, skipped the 7, had the 8. If there was a 9, I skipped that, but I definitely got the 10, had the 11, skipped the 12, now I have the 13, right? Well, here's the interesting thing about it. Nobody had to talk me into buying an iPhone. Nobody had to talk me into buying the first one, or the iPhone 3, or the 4, or the 5, or the 6, or the 8, or the 10, or the 11. I just bought them because, well, I wanted them, right? At least that's what I think. I bought those iPhones and this iPhone because I felt like buying it. See, when I understood and began to really understand at a higher level, human beings are singularly motivated, which means people do what they do for one reason and one reason only, and that is because they feel like it. You say, no, it's because they want to. The reason they want to is because they feel like it. Everything in sales, when you understand that everything in selling goes back to feelings. People buy what they feel like buying. And whatever that feeling, like whatever the feeling is that makes them feel like buying, whatever caused that feeling. But the reason they bought, because they felt like it. See, nobody needs a $300,000 car. Why do people buy Rolls Royces and Lamborghinis for $300,000 or $400,000 or $500,000? Nobody needs a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 car. It doesn't get you there 10 times faster or 20 times faster than a $30,000 car. So why do people do it? They do it because they feel like it. There's something about that experience that makes them feel like yes, right? Nobody needs 10 pair of sneakers or 10 pair of shoes for that matter. You only have one pair of feet, but you got 10 pair of shoes. Or worse, 30 pair of shoes or 40 pair of shoes. Why did you buy them? You bought them because somebody sold them to you. And the way they sold them to you is they made you feel like buying. Because when somebody is actually good at sales and they create an environment that makes you feel like buying, you think you bought it because it was your idea. I mean, wrap your mind around that. You don't remember somebody knocking on your door and saying, would you like to buy an iPhone? Would you like to buy an iPad? Why? Because it didn't happen. But what they did was they created an environment where they made the iPad or the iPhone look cool. And then everybody wanted one. Oh, I gotta have one. Oh my goodness. Well, it's only $1,500 for that phone. I'll take it. Right? And so they created that feeling in you that made you say, I have to have that thing. And so when you understand how do you create emotions in other people that cause them to feel like doing the thing that you desire them to do. And I'm going to show you more quickly maybe than I have ever shown anybody in my life in the next 4 or 5 minutes at the outside, how to create a feeling in people that causes them to feel like buying. So here's how it works. When you understand that this is the fact, and so what happens, that's the fact, and I'm going to undo that part, and then I'm going to move this part over here. Okay, so that's the fact. This is you. Or we won't even say this is you. For the sake of this illustration, we'll say this is your prospect, right? Your prospect is over here, and you're talking to them, and they observe the fact. And the fact, this could be your product, right? That fact could be your product, it could be your opportunity, it could be your service, whatever. They observe the fact. Your job is to use words to put a frame around that fact, and that frame creates a focus in their head. And there's no dot over. You don't dot the U's. You just dot the I's, Myron. Okay, so you put a focus. You put a frame around the fact, and the frame causes your focus. The reason you put frame around the picture is so you can focus on what's inside the picture, right? So you put a frame around that fact, and that frame is in the form of focus that you install in their head. That you get them to focus on an aspect of the fact. Now, and that fact could be your product. You get them focused on an aspect of your product. Your product has a positive aspect. It has a negative aspect, not positive and negative objectively, but positive or negative for them in their mind. When you get them to focus on what's positive to them about your offer, your product, your service, your opportunity, they buy. When you get them to focus on the negative aspects, which is usually has something to do with you, your product, your company, all that stuff you want to tell them about, how long you've been in business, what the stuff, all the great stuff about your business, how wonderful you are, and how you believe in quality, customer service, and integrity, and all the rest of those useless words people use. When you get them to focus on that, that doesn't do anything for them. So what happens is, if you get them to focus on the positive aspects of the fact, makes them happy, they buy. If you get them to focus on the negative aspect, makes them sad. Okay, well, here's what happens. You create this focus in their head, and as soon as you get them to focus on something, they're going to amplify what you cause them to focus on. It's going to cause them to conjure up a belief about you and about your offer. Okay, y'all tracking? So it's going to cause you to conjure up a belief. It causes them to conjure up a belief. And that belief is like a two-sided coin. If that coin lands on heads, they are going to have a belief called faith. If that belief lands on tails, it's going to cause them to have a belief called doubt. Now, here's what most people don't realize. Faith and doubt are both belief. Most people think that faith is belief and doubt is the absence of belief. But faith is belief in the outcome you desire, or this person desires. Doubt is belief in the outcome you don't desire. I'm going to make this a little smaller. There we go. So faith is belief in the outcome you desire. Doubt is belief in the outcome you don't desire. Well, what happens? When you have this belief, that belief travels down into your heart, and then it creates, so the focus in your head creates a feeling. Boom, there it is. A feeling in your heart. That feeling is going to be determined by whether or not you got them to focus on the positive or the negative, whether they manifested faith or whether they manifested doubt. If the feeling that they focus on, if the aspect of their belief they focus on is faith, it's going to create the feeling of anticipation. Anticipation is the energy I get when the outcome I desire or when the outcome I expect is desirable to me. I'm going to say that again. Anticipation is the energy I get when the outcome I expect is desirable to me. Now, what happens when I'm talking about my product and they anticipate that they are going to get an outcome that they desire, what happens is they feel good about it. And that good feeling is what causes them to say yes to your offer. But if I cause them to have doubt, because I got them to focus on something that to me was positive, but to them was negative. Now they're going to have anxiety. And anxiety is the feeling that I get when the outcome I desire, and when the outcome I expect is not desirable to me. So what is anxiety? Anxiety is when the feeling I get is, or when the feeling anxiety is the feeling I get when the outcome I expect is undesirable to me. And so I have anxiety. And anxiety robs me of the energy to take the action. So now, instead of me like showing them all of the good stuff that they get that they desire, I show them all the stuff that I think is good that I desire them to focus on, and then they end up saying no because I created an environment that made them feel like not buying. Okay? So what happens? Well, when the focus in their head creates the feeling in their heart, that feeling in their heart produces or manufactures or creates 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It creates, are you ready for this? It creates a function in their hands. And when the focus in their head is faith, and the feeling in their heart is anticipation, the function in their hand is called power. Now they have the power to purchase what you have offered them. But when, how did I do that? Okay, so the power. So when the focus in your head when the focus in their head causes them to manufacture a belief called doubt, it's going to create a feeling called anxiety. That anxiety is going to create a function in their hands called powerlessness. And now it's not even that they don't want to buy. Now you've created an environment where they can't buy. Why can't they buy? They can't buy because you caused them to focus on the wrong aspect of your offer. And when you are trying to get them to buy, they are going to resist buying because nobody likes to get got. They are going to resist buying. When you try to get them to buy, they can feel that you're desperate for a check or you're desperate for a sale so you can get an award, whatever the reason is, they can feel it. And when they feel pursued, when they feel chased, when they feel pressured, they are going to resist. But when they feel served, and they feel loved, and they feel like you have their best interest in mind, the only thing they can't do is not buy. So instead of trying to get people to buy what you have to sell, instead create an environment that makes them feel like buying and watch your sales go through the roof. I'm Myron Golden. Remember, subscribe, like, comment, share, and I'll see you on the next video. I'm out.